Hi everyone. Today we're going to be working on the FOIL method. We're going to be showing you how to use this thing called the FOIL method to expand or multiply two binomials. I've got two binomials on the screen right now. Let me just remind you what a binomial is. A binomial, or the word bi, means two, and binomial just means an expression with two terms. For example, in this first bracket, we've got an expression that has two terms in it. The first term is the 2x, and the second term is the 3. Then we've got another binomial in the second bracket. The first term of that is the x, and the second term is the minus 5. Okay. And what we're going to try and do is we're going to expand or multiply the first binomial, the 2x plus 3, by the second binomial, x minus 5. And we're going to be doing that using something called the FOIL method. First of all, let me explain what FOIL stands for. It's not a fancy or complicated math terminology. It just stands for four very simple words. The F stands for first. The O stands for outside. The I stands for inside. And the L stands for last. And that's just a reminder of the four things you need to do in order to multiply two binomials. So let me just write this out again. 2x plus 3 times x minus 5. How I want you to think about this, or one of the ways I like to think about it, is pretend we've got two couples who are meeting to have dinner with each other. And the first couple is these two people, 2x and 3. And the second couple is these two people, the x and the minus 5. And so they're just about to meet. And of course, when you meet someone, you've got to shake hands. So what needs to happen is that both the people in the first party, the 2x and the 3, need to shake hands with the people in the second party, the x and the minus 5. So here's the first handshake that's going to happen. Well, let's say this guy, 2x, shakes hands with the x. That's a handshake. And then, of course, 2x, who's already shaken hands with the x, also needs to shake hands with the other person, the minus 5. So now 2x has shaken hands with every other person in the party. They don't need to shake any more hands. But 3 has not shaken hands yet. And so 3 needs to shake hands with the x. There's that handshake. And the final handshake that hasn't happened yet is 3 has to shake hands with the minus 5. Right? The 2x and the 3 don't need to shake hands with each other because they're together. They already know each other. And the same with the x and the minus 5. They don't need to shake hands with each other either. And the only four handshakes that need to happen in this meeting are represented by the four lines that I've just drawn. So let's just take a look at what we did. The first line was the 2x and the x. Well, if you notice, 2x is the first term in the first binomial, and x is the first term in the second binomial. So the first term of the first binomial and the first term of the second binomial just shook hands. And that's why the f in first comes for. That's what the first stands for. The first terms in each of the binomials shakes hands. The O stands for outside. Let's take a look at the second handshake that happened. This 2x and this minus 5, they shook hands. And if you notice, the 2x and the minus 5 that I'm representing with these arrows, they're on the outside of the two of these two binomials. They're the ones on the further end. The 2x is out here on the left, and the minus 5 is out here on the right. And since that was the second handshake that took place, that's what the O stands for. The two outside terms got multiplied or shook hands after the first people did it. The next one handshake that took place is the 3 and the x. And as you can see, those two terms are on the inside. They're the ones in the middle. If you look at these four terms as being in a row, the 3 and the x are in the middle, so they're on the inside, and that's what the I stands for. The inside terms shook hands next. And finally, what do you think last stands for? Well, the last handshake that happened, the fourth handshake that happened, was between the 3 and the minus 5. And the 3 is the last term in the first bracket, and the minus 5 is the last term in the second bracket. And so now the last terms shook hands like this, and that's why L is the last. That's why L stands for last. So FOIL just stands for first, outside, inside, last, and just represents the positions of the four handshakes that took place. Now let's actually do the multiplying. So the first multiplication we have to do is the first. So 2x times x gives us 2x squared. Now we do the outside one, so it's going to be the 2x times the minus 5, and a positive times a negative gives us a negative. 2 times 5 is 10, and the x from the 2x has to be put in there as well. So that's the outside. Now we go to inside. The two inside terms, the 3 and the x, multiply to give us plus 3x. And last but not least, uh, the last two terms in each bracket, the 3 and the minus 5, multiply to give us minus 15. And there's the four handshakes represented by the 1, 2, 3, 4 terms that came about from those four multiplications that we just did. Are we done right now? Can we simplify this any further? Well, if you take a look and look for like terms, well, the first term's a 2x squared, and there's no other 2x squareds, so that can't be added with anything else. The last term is a constant, or a minus 15, just a regular number. There are no other regular numbers in this expression. Everything else has an x in it, so we can't add the 15 to anything else. But if you look at the two middle terms, they're both x terms. There's a minus 10x and a 3x, and we can add those two together. So let's clean this up. The first term, the 2x squared, stays the same. The last term, the 15, that stays the same as well. But the two middle terms, minus 10 plus 3, or 3 minus 10, gives us negative 7x. And there's our answer. 2x squared minus 7x minus 15. That's how we use the FOIL method to multiply two binomials. If you found the explanation in this video helpful, please click the like button and let us know in the comments. It would really help the channel and help us to continue to bring you free videos that explain in detail how to answer the math questions you need help with. And also click the subscribe button too, because subscribers get to send in their questions to us. If your question is not a question that we've already covered, we may create a video on our channel with the solution to your question, or a very similar question if there was any copyright or liability issues. So please subscribe and send us your question to solve right now. It's like having your own personal math tutor for free. And you can send your questions in the comments or through our website. We've included a link in the description below where you can send us your question. Thanks for watching. Bye.